Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, now here I am continuing on with my sports movie reviews. And now here I am with a review for Remember the Titans. So, yeah, this movie was released in 2000, and I didn't see this film when it was first released, and I really have never actually seen it before at all, because, I don't know, it just... Yeah, I don't even remember, this movie even, being around when it was released. I mean, I don't remember hearing any mention of it or anything. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it was just because I wasn't really following these types of films that I really didn't pay attention to when it was released. But yeah, I never really watched it before just because I just felt that this really wasn't my type of movie. So, yeah, so I hadn't actually seen it at all prior to making this review. But yeah, I figured with me reviewing sports movies, I figured this would probably be a good one to review, and yeah, just a good one to include in these reviews. So yeah, so I just gave it a watch, and yeah, this movie, it was pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, really, I don't hear a lot of people really talking about this film when they talk about sports films. I think this is a really overlooked sports film because, yeah, the story that this film has, it is a pretty good story overall. And I just really do think that this is a really well acted and well told. Well, the story that it has is told really well, and it's just all around the film is overall pretty good. Yeah. The film is pretty similar to Rudy because, like Rudy, this film actually is based on a true story about a African American coach that comes to a school to coach a football team, and apparently the team consists of two different races, and yeah, the races at first are clashing with each other, but over time due to the coach's influences and just what the coach has them do, the team and the different races really do start to they really do start to unify together as a team and just achieve some racial harmony with each other. Yeah, and yeah, the movie really does also have it really is kind of like a clash of races throughout the film because yeah, even just it's not really just between the players, just like the team staff and everyone else involved with the games and stuff, they are kind of biased towards the opposing race. So yeah, it is kind of like a sort of a story of racism and stuff in it. But yeah, it's not really anything that really goes too far overboard. I mean, this is a Disney film overall, so yeah, there's really not anything really too graphic or anything for it. There's no sort of violence against the opposing race or anything. But yeah, we do kind of see how there is some biasness against one race. Ace and yeah, like I said, just in this film, the two opposing races really clash. There's a there's a Caucasian part of the team, and there's also an African American part of the team, and so yeah, and like I said, just yeah, throughout as the film starts off with the two different races coming together, when the film starts, they really do clash with each other and really are not on par with having to be teammates with the other race. But yeah, through the coach really training them up and really just having them really get along with each other. Like I said, they do eventually make peace and really unify as a whole team and stuff. So yeah. So overall, I do think that this story is told pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, so the film does star Denzel Washington as the head coach of the team in this film, and I do think that he does do a really good job in this. I mean, yeah, Denzel Washington really just, I mean, he is one of the most popular actors of this day and age, and yeah, and I really can't think of any film Denzel Washington has done that really hasn't where he really hasn't had a good performance. So yeah, so I can't really say Denzel Washington really doesn't have a bad performance to his credit. So yeah, Denzel Washington, he is pretty good as like the head coach in this film. And this film also does have like a cast members like Will Patton, Wood Harris, Ryan Hurst, Donald Faison, Craig Kirkwood, Ryan Gosling, and even Hayden Panettiere is in this film as well. Though yeah, this is when like she was like really young. Like of course, like as I said, this was in 2000, so yeah, she was like much younger here. She's only about like 10 or 11. And in this one, well, yeah, the character she plays is only 9 years old. But yeah, at the time, Hayden Panettiere herself was just about like 10 or 11 years old at the time. So yeah, this was like very early into her career. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I do think that the performances are overall pretty good. I mean, just like I said in my Rudy review, how I don't really know like how well the movie really does follow like the true story of Rudy Rudiger. Yeah, I really am not really sure like how well this film actually does follow like the story that it's really based on, because yeah, haven't really like heard anything about like any sort of like uh T.C. Williams high school football story, anything with Herman Boone and Bill Yost and all these like different players. So yeah, I really don't really know like how well this really does like follow the true story. But yeah, regardless of how well it follows it, the film overall, it is still a pretty good film, and it is like I would say worth a watch if you haven't seen it before. I mean, yeah, like I was just saying, like this film, I really don't hear people really talking about this film when they really do talk about sports films. So I really do think that this film really does deserve more recognition, because yeah, it is a good film. Yeah, and it really does also have like some like dramatic moments in the film as well, because of course like towards like the end of the film, like a player ends up like getting in an accident and he ends up being permanently paralyzed afterwards. So yeah, it does have like dramatic moments like that throughout the film as well. So yeah, it's not really like a totally like a Disney sort of like type of film that you would really expect. Like yeah, there is like some drama to it as well. So yeah, so it does really take like more chances like that. So yeah, so you got to give the film credit for like also taking that sort of turn with it. Yeah. So really, I just don't really know what else to really say. I mean, just yeah, it's a good film, and I really do feel that it does deserve some more recognition, because yeah, well, I just really yeah, this film just really doesn't get talked about a whole lot. So yeah, so overall, I would probably give this film probably like around 3.5 stars out of 4. Like yeah, it is like really really good. So yeah, if you haven't seen this film before, check it out. Like it is on Disney Plus. So yeah, so go on to Disney Plus and find the film and just give it a watch, because yeah, it is worth like the 2 hours that it lasts. So yeah, okay, so yeah, so I guess I'll just like start jumping into the premise of the film. Yeah. So as the film opens up, it opens up in the year 1981, and it just shows like there's a group of like former football coaches and players that are attending a funeral, and then and yeah, and yeah, but there really is like no sort of like context or anything regarding like what this funeral is really about. Like when this film starts, like at the end of the film, it really does like give like all the context on like what this is really about. But yeah, when the film starts, we really don't like hear anything about like what the funeral really is about. Yeah, and then then it talked about like how 10 years earlier in 1971 there was at T.C. Williams High School in Alexandria, Virginia. There was then like an African American in coach Herman Boone, who was hired to coach the school's football team. And so then, and yeah, and at first the team was like under like the coaching of the Caucasian coach Bill Yost. And then apparently like he's like received a nomination for the Virginia High School Hall of Fame. And yeah, and he's apparently like assigned to the head coach job. Because yeah, apparently this is like an attempt by the school board to like attempt to placate rising racial tensions and the fact that like other high school those are white only. But yeah, but Boone refused the head coach job, and because he feels that it was unfair to Yost. But then after like he like saw like how much it really meant to the African American community, and yeah, Boone then ended up like relenting, and yeah, he became the head coach. And then Yost was then like offered like the assistant coach job by the school board. Or then yeah, initially like he was gonna turn it down, but then when the Caucasian players like pledged to boycott if he didn't participate, then he reconsidered and ended up like accepting the assistant coach job. Yeah. 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 And then when it showed like there was like the prospect of like students possibly like losing chances of scholarships, this like Yost then like ended up like taking the position of like the defensive coordinator hitter, and it showed that like Boone's daughter Cheryl, who was played by Hayden Panettiere, really didn't like the fact that her dad was like being like relieved of like the coaching job. And she really didn't like that he was just being made into like an assistant coach. Yeah. Yeah. And then as a Boone then like recruited like all the African American players and called a meeting in the gym. And then he just like told all the players like what was going on, that they were going to be going to who camp to train, and just told them like how everything was going to go. Then Yost and the Caucasian players ended up like interrupting the meeting. But and then yeah, and as Boone and Yost were like having a conversation about it, how like they were explaining that Boone will run the team and that black and white doesn't really matter to him. And yeah, and then yeah, the players then ended up like traveling to Gettysburg College to train. And yeah, and as I said, like at first, yeah, there were like yeah, the opposing races between the African Americans and the Caucasians were like in a were just like in a clash with like racial motivated conflicts. It even like included like clashes between the two captains of the team, Gary Bertier and Julius Campbell. But then yeah, over time, like Coach Boone really did like make the students real. Well, yeah, the players really like get along with each other. Yeah, he like made like the players like really like just talk with a different in player from the opposing race that they are. Really just like get to know more about them, and then yeah, he also like put them through some intensive training, and like he had the players go on an early run to the Gettysburg Cemetery, and also gave them some motivational speeches. And yeah, and he also like refused to like really like give them water until they really did like train the appropriate way and stuff. So yeah, he really did like get through to them by like forceful coaching and just like really intensive training on them. Yeah, and then eventually like over time, really, yeah, the team then like really did like achieve harmony and really just like unified together as a full team. Yeah. And then when they like returned from the camp, like Boone was told by a member of the school board that at the start of the season that even if like the team does lose like a single game, he'll be dismissed. So yeah, then the throughout the season, the team who was like named the Titans, and yeah, they like went through the season really undefeated in games, and then it showed like throughout the season they were also like battling like some racial prejudice as well as, and but yeah, they also like got some support from the community as the season progressed. Yeah. So, yeah, and then yeah, it also showed that like there was also like one guy on the team, Ray, that ended up being removed, and he was like Gary's best friend because yeah, he like had an act of racism where he like missed a block, which led to like like an injury on their quarterback, Jerry Harris, or like nicknamed Rev. Yeah. And then as like the team was approaching like the state semifinals, the chairman of the school board like informed Yost that he'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame after the Titans lose a game, because he was like implying that he wanted Boone to be dismissed. So they ended up like trying to fix the game. And it was like showed that like the referees were like being biased against the Titans. And then over time, like Yost could like see what was going on, because he like saw like the chairman and other board members in the audience looking on with satisfaction. And then and after like Yost then like figured out what was going on and that the game was rigged, he like marched onto the field and just told the referee that it better be officiated fairly or else he'll expose the scandal to the press. And so then, the Titans then were able to shut out the opposing team and they advanced to the state championships. But then, the chairman really just was not happy with what Yost did and told him that because of what he did and saved Boone's job, he's now lost the candidacy for a Hall of Fame induction. And then that night, as like the Titans were celebrating their victory, Gary ended up like being injured in a car accident because he ended up like driving through an intersection, but he like ran against an oncoming truck, and the truck ended up like totaling the car, and then it just like cut to just like all the Titans waiting in the hospital, which included like the players, the coaches, and even some of the parents of the players there, which included like Gary's mom. And then it was eventually then announced that Gary was paralyzed from the waist down, and so he couldn't continue playing. And so then the Titans then like were forced to play the championship game without him. And the opposing team was like had the lead going into the fourth quarter, but then the Titans then started to battle back and mounted up a comeback in the fourth quarter, and they were able to win the state championship. And then it was like announced that Gary would be paralyzed for the rest of his life. And then it was just like said that like 10 years later, Gary ended up like dying in another automobile accident due to a drunk driver. But it also said that after he was paralyzed, he won a gold medal in the shot put at the Paralympic Games. And then it was also revealed that the funeral that the players went to at the start of the film was actually for Gary. And then it just showed like all the players now grown up, all just like gathering around the casket, and it showed then like Gary's mother was right there, and Julius was like right there or against with Gary's mother and holding her hand. And then the team then just like was all joining in singing like a mournful rendition of na 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 hey 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 goodbye. And then it just like showed like just all the players and the coaches and everybody just like slowly walking off. And then there was like an epilogue, then just like giving descriptions of all the players and coaches, like just talking about like what happened with them after the events of 1971 and stuff. So and that's how it ended. So like I said, I mean, I don't really know like how well this film really does actually follow the true story that it is based on, because I really don't know like what the story for this film, the real story really is. I really haven't heard anything about it, but regardless of how well this film really does like follow the true story, the film overall is still pretty good. Hood. Yeah, and yeah, just like I've said already several times, just I really do think that this movie really does deserve a lot more recognition because, yeah, just I really do not hear this film really getting mentioned when people really do talk about sports films because, yeah, it is just really good. Like, the performances are all, like, pretty good from everybody. Hoodie, and the story overall, it is told really well. I really do like the stuff with like the two races really like clashing at first, but then over time they really do like make peace with each other, and they really do like form the full team together and stuff. So yeah, so it really does kind of like remind me of like the Martin Luther King stuff, where like there really is like prejudice and bias kind of like towards the African American race, but then yeah, then like over time, like they start to be accepted, and yeah, even like the Caucasian people that really are not prejudiced and stuff, they really do like make the ones who are stop acting the way they are. So I do like how they really do stand up for the rights and stuff like that. So yeah, so I really do like what this film really does do, and it is a good film overall. So yeah, like I said, if you haven't seen it before, check it out. It is definitely worth a watch. So like I said, 3.5 stars out of 4. Alright, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. So, yeah, so I guess this is my review of Remember the Titans. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review. And yeah, and coming up next, I remember I did tell you guys back when I announced that I was doing these sports movie reviews, I did tell you guys that in these reviews, I was also going to talk about the remaining Air Bud sequels that I haven't talked about yet, because yeah, I have reviewed the first two Air Bud films, and I told you that I was going to talk about the other three. So yeah, and that's coming up next. Up next, I am going to talk about the remaining Air Bud sequels. So that's coming up next. So stay tuned for that. All right, but yeah, but I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.